I'm Tyler.
And I'm Ryan, and this is Retrobit Unplugged. All right, episode 2 of Retrobit Unplugged. This is the first Sunday without football. I know I cried a little bit today.
I didn't. I'm good.
Yeah, I know. You're full swing into basketball and All-Star game.
Unfortunately, yes.
A lot of snubs.
Yeah, snubs.
LeBron James did not play. I guess it ended his 20-year streak. Is that what I understand?
Yes, I think so. I think. Oh my god, I think that's right.
Wow. 20 years at that. Well,
Scum move, by the way. Scum move by LeBron James. I like LeBron, but brother, you do not wait till the day of the All-Star game to go, you know what, I'm not gonna play, and then the league can't get a sub. That takes away someone like Sabonis, who could have easily been an All-Star. Plus, what sucks about that is if Sabonis is an All-Star this year, he gets an extra $10 million. So
scum move. All right. Well,
sorry.
no, it's fine. It's
I'm
fine. Are we going to address the elephant in the room though? The Super Bowl last week.
If you want to call it that. I kind of got some Seahawk Bronco flashbacks.
That game was over by halftime.
Yeah.
I did see something funny on the internet. Kendrick Lamar had more rushing yards or more yards in the Super Bowl in his halftime performance than the Chiefs did the entire game.
The entire offense?
They actually tracked his movement, and he had more yards than the Kansas City Chiefs that game.
If that doesn't tell you the whole game summed up, I don't know what will.
Say, hey Drake, I don't know. We'll go on to something else. But yeah, no, it was disappointing. I obviously we had no dog in the fight. We're big Seahawk fans, but it was disappointing to watch.
It's not what I expected, honestly.
No, it really, I know the Chiefs were not great this year.
They had their flaws, the very obvious flaws through the whole year.
Very obvious flaws. But they always kept it close.
See, that's what I thought it was gonna be. I thought, okay, you're gonna have Patrick Mahomes and Kelsey, but then Eagles got Saquon. So the first two might just be score, just back and forth, and it's finally after that half, someone's gonna be like, all right, make this change, and then it's over. Now the Eagles said, nah, we got this. Like it's
So season's done. We're couple weeks away, maybe a week away from the combine, and then very quickly into March.
Draft is April or March?
Drafts in April, but the free agency new league year starts somewhere around the first 2 weeks of March, normally around like the 12th or something like that.
So they move quick.
Really, the dead zone is after the draft until the, I don't know, June, July. You have some like off or voluntary trainings in April, May, but a lot of it you don't really see anything. OTAs don't start till like late June, early July. So
okay. So they move. I did not know that they moved that quick.
Yeah, they move pretty quick. So, but it'll at least give us some time to watch this horrible Super Bowl out. And
was it really bad? Like honestly,
it was bad. I'd say it was probably.
Is it just bad from the aspect it was a very one-sided game, and there wasn't a lot of action?
I think so. Like it felt like the Seattle-Denver Super Bowl. Like it.
And even in that case, like okay, you watched that one obviously.
I watched it live.
As a Seahawk fan, did it still feel like you're a little bored, or is the feeling of the fact your team's winning the Super Bowl just trump all that?
I was still bored in the third quarter.
But you at the point where we're like, all right, well, we're already gonna win this game. So
yes. It really, once the third quarter hit 0, and I think at that point Seattle was up, I want to say 40-6. At that point 40-8 or something like that. I kind of knew like 15 minutes was not enough to score 32 points, even for Peyton Manning. It wasn't going to happen.
You want to know what's funny about that game? That is the first football game I ever watched.
First football game.
It was the first game I watched. And first game I watched, and it was the Seahawks killing the Broncos.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think it rivaled that one. We'll see. We'll see how
these people really thought they were gonna have Patrick have that 23 comeback with repeat.
Yeah, not with Tom Brady in the house.
Nope.
So, all right. Well, enough with that. We're going to go into our normal structure today. Kind of what we talked about last time. We're going to do some league updates of the RBL Retrobit leagues, and then get into our topic of the week before we wrap it up with hot takes. We had some good ones.
Yes. Hold on, really quickly. I gotta preface something here. I thought Soto got paid a lot more money than he actually did.
Okay.
I thought he was paid in the 900 range, 800 range. I did not know he was actually paid $745.
I still think
I still think it's not. He's not grossly overpaid as much as I thought, but he is still overpaid.
Well, that TikTok's dropping tomorrow, so go check us out on TikTok as well. Follow us. We'll give clips there, and who knows, maybe we'll do a live or something. But 745, you said?
It was 745, yeah. For I think it was 11 or 10.
All I know, it's ridiculous.
Yes.
So that being said, appreciate that. We'll get into our hot takes today.
Clear that up.
So league updates. So we'll start off. What a lot of you may not know is I am the commissioner of the College Football League of RBL.
I'm there too, but
Tyler's the deputy commissioner. You have your own league.
Yes. Which
is the NBA league. Which,
technically speaking, playoffs were today, but we were busy, so I'll get that out tomorrow.
Yep. It's all good. It's all good. And by the time you're watching this,
I just remember that as you were saying that.
By the time this episode comes out, they'll already be released.
Yeah.
So, but I do want to give a shout out to University of North Florida. They now have won 5 championships out of 25 seasons. We've been running the CFL for 23 of the 25, 22 of the 25.
22, because we took over
season 3. So we've been running it for 22 of the 25 seasons. We're going on.
It feels like he's won more.
No, only 5. I did check. He's only won 5.
He's won three, and I lost 4. Though,
he's won 5. Yes, yeah, he's been on a tear lately. So, but yeah, so shout out to him. We're in the middle of the first segment of our 26th season, but looking strong. I mean, looking strong. Lost a few players, but the key players like UNF, they're not going away. So,
do you think that conference is the hardest conference in the league?
That's tough. That is the Southern Conference, right? Yeah. It's tough. It's tough.
I feel like there's a powerhouse for every conference. At least one per conference. There's
for sure.
I think my conference is the worst.
We're in the same.
I think we're the worst.
We are in the worst. It's kind of in shambles right now. But I think the Ohio State one, that conference, I think that's a juggernaut of a conference. I think we had 4 or 5 teams in the playoffs was just from that conference. So
gamers, man.
Gamers. So shout out to UNF.
Shout out them.
RBM. So Alex thought of this great idea a few seasons back. I think this is the 4th iteration. Kind of stolen from the NBA, but we have an in-season tournament. And really cool. You kind of get to use your scores for 2 different. You get to use it for your normal regular season play, and you get to use it for the in-season tournament. I'm going to pat myself on the back. I won it this season. I don't even.
You're having a season.
I am having a season.
But you're having a season.
I am. It is. I feel like it's a bloodbath in the NFC.
NFC or the NFC West?
Both. NFC West is like what is that? What is that called in wrestling? I'm not a wrestling, but it segues into our next one.
Yes.
So, but shout out to myself. But with that, we'll get into wrestling league. So,
the wrestling league, my boy.
before you give updates, kind of explain how it works.
Okay.
Because it might be confusing. We always talk about a retro bowl game.
You know, I can see why it's confusing. How do you use a game of football for wrestling? And honestly, it sounds crazy, but when you really hear it out, that's how it works. So, the RBWF, the Retro Bowl Wrestling Federation, basis of it, how it works. When you join the league, you can choose any wrestler, WWE, AEW, New Japan, any real wrestler. You can even make your own character up in your head, whatever you want.
Okay.
And then it's medium, 2 minutes.
Okay.
Kind of like the Arena Ball League.
Okay.
And you basically play your games. Your first, so it's in segments of 4 games. Mm-hmm. Game 1, that's your score for normal, just raw, and just normal. Your fourth score of the segment, it's for pay-per-views. It's the big shows and stuff like that. That's usually the ones that when you get titles and your stuff like that. So that's pretty much the basis. The commissioner of that league, I believe that is, who is that?
Dylan.
It is Dylan. He writes all the stories with Alex, I believe. Like, it's like just like wrestling. There's a creative team. All this stuff.
Okay.
It's
right.
intense. It's intense.
So it's not just straightforward. No,
there's a whole like stories. There are people in there in the group chat playing as their characters. Just type of promos, like cut promos on each other, which can get a little crazy sometimes.
Okay.
But yeah. So today we just wrapped up SummerSlam War Games. I believe that's what it is.
Yes, I'm reading it here. I'm not in the.
Yeah, he's not into the wrestling stuff. I am the wrestling person here.
So
So for you, before you, because you probably look at this like, what is War Games? I'll just give it a general basis. War Games, throwback idea to WCW, 2 rings, 1 big cage. And instead of your normal cage matches where first escape or stuff like that, if you escape the cage, you lose. You pretty much quit. You forfeit your team.
Okay.
So it's like a big fight inside of a cage.
So it's a war.
War. There you go. Exactly. Hence War Games. So that's the main event. So I'll hold off for that right now. But let's see. What does this say? I wrote this down because there's a lot of results here. Yes, our tag team champions. Too cool. That's Rikishi, Grandmaster Sexay, and Rikishi. Yes, Scotty, Sexay, and Rikishi.
Okay.
They are our tag champs for 42 days now. I have faced them twice now.
And you're not on Too Cool.
No, I am not. I am Switchblade Jay White from AW.
Okay.
And
42 days.
42 days, and they are defending them. It's not like they're just holding on to them. They are defending them. 42 straight days.
Is there anybody you think can?
No. I don't know. Not right now.
Okay. No characters.
Well, there's this one guy, but he needs to find a partner. So obviously you're not in it because you don't get the wrestling.
I don't follow wrestling.
I'm trying to get him to join. He doesn't get it, but
Bitball. I got you on Bitball.
All right, fine. So in the league,
shout out coming out next month.
In this league, they just had this new guy. His name is the Hired Gun. I don't know his actual name, but I know for a fact it's called the Hired Gun. The Hired Gun.
Okay.
He's like
you're speaking like
I know.
gibberish.
He's the commissioner's like bodyguard or like hired person to take out whoever.
Okay.
His character is like a big masked like assassin. Yeah, kind of
different.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he's new, but he's kind of doing like he's taking people out. If he can find a partner, he can win you tag belts. He can win them.
So somebody might be able to challenge.
He just has to find a partner, maybe not the commissioner. But move on to that. My team. So War Games. Who did we face? Because it was my team. The Elite.
The Elite.
Jay White. Yep. The Elite. Anybody watches AW, same idea. Just
Okay.
myself, Jay White, Jeff Hardy, CM Punk. And there's one more person. I forgot. I apologize if you're in my team. I forgot who it is. I think it's Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe. That's who it is. We faced. Who did we face?
Well, Alex sent me screenshots again. I don't.
Because I didn't write down who we faced. I just wrote down that we won because that's all that mattered to me. We won that match. So,
So
who did we face?
You were facing China,
Okay.
Stone Cold Steve Austin,
Okay.
Mankind, and Shane McMahon.
Champion. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So that's who we faced.
Okay.
China, Stone Cold, obviously, probably the best two. No disrespect to the two, but that's just score show.
Okay.
We beat them. That's our first win as a team.
Congratulations.
Our first one as a team.
Congratulations. So what you're saying is, as players, the podcast, I won the in-season tournament. You won a trophy, medal.
We didn't win anything, I think.
Oh, okay. All right.
And then won that. And before we finish up, really quickly, I'm gonna say this right now. I am officially on this podcast. I'm gonna declare something right now. The Iron Sheik in this league. Iron Sheik. What am I trying to say this too? Iron Sheik, you have the U.S. title. You have held the U.S. title too long. It is my time. I've counted for the world title. I've won war games. You may underestimate me, but I'm telling you right now, you better clench that title as long as you can because Switchblade Jay White's gunning for you. That's all I'm gonna say. Iron Sheik, watch your back. And also, shout out to my guy, Orange Cassidy. He's the best wrestler in the world, in the league. And yeah, I think we're done there.
All right. So now
Sorry, I got passionate on that.
No, you're good. So that's all we had for updates from the leagues, but you did want to do some shout outs to just a few other leagues that are looking for. Tell us what we're looking
Okay, so this is for. We're actually looking for players in 2 leagues right now.
Yes.
One of them being the Arena Football League, AFL.
Yes, so it's a 16-team league.
16-team league. That I don't have the details here. I just have like the.
No, that's fine.
It's a Twitter-based league, or is it both?
I think it's just Twitter-based.
Okay, Twitter people or anyone really. Arena Football is looking for players. It's normal Arena Bowl league. I think that's also like I said earlier. It's medium, 2-minute quarters.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a team restriction? I've not been in the league in a while, so I don't know like player count wise.
So there's only 16 total teams. That's what they're trying to keep it at. I think if they get 16 consistent teams, I think Q, shout out to Q, wants to expand it.
Okay.
As far as what team names, I think they tried to go off of actual arena.
Yes, you are allowed to go off. When I was in, I had a custom team, but I remember before, if they're going back, it's based off of the AFL,
actual
the
arena
actual
team.
arena
So
team.
it could be defunct team. Well, obviously the whole league's defunct.
If it was an arena team, you could be them.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Roster restrictions. I think it's just
no,
normal.
No.
What it is.
200 million.
I think the only rule is you have to have a kicker,
Yes.
and the weather's off because you're indoors.
Correct.
So they're looking for players. Did they say how many, or just look for?
I don't know. I think 3 or 4, but definitely, for both of these, the next one we're going to talk about too, shout out in the comments, tell us you're interested, and we can link you up.
If you are in fact interested, hit up. What's the on Twitter for him?
I would say just hit up Retrobit Leagues.
Yeah, there you go. Retrobit Leagues on Twitter. Or Facebook. We're on Facebook now? I did not know that.
Yeah, we are. We're on Facebook.
On Facebook, just put down what league you're interested in.
Yep.
And we'll put you immediately into contact with whoever commissioner you're going to join. And this second one is also... He's newer, right? This is a newer league?
Yeah, so that's the Friday Night League. It's only been around... So they redesigned it. This is the... I think we're going into the second season. And they switched from the Retro Bowl game to the college game to give you that high school dynamic.
Yes, they are looking for a lot of players.
A lot
right
of
now.
players, a lot of players. I think they only have 4 or 5. They'd really like to get up to at least that 12 or 16.
They just went on to hiatus as they get that player count up, correct?
Correct.
So,
And it's tough. It's tough. We know we started off with about 12 players, and it probably
I think the difference is we came in at a time where not a lot of people were making leagues.
no, and they had just came out with the college game.
Yeah, so we got lucky.
Yeah.
But no, the FNL is looking for players. They are on hiatus currently. That one is the both league. That's on Messenger, Facebook, and Twitter. Yeah. So either way, wherever you use, hit us up again.
Yep.
Hit us up on the Retrobit League page. We'll get you in contact. And shout out to both commissioners.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, that would be Q is FL
and Eric is FNL.
Yeah.
So shout out to those guys. No, they do great work.
Everyone does great work.
Yeah, both of them, just like us, took over somebody else's league, and it's just making it better. I love what Q has done with the AFL. He's done 25 seasons now, or he's on season 25 now.
So he's catching up with us.
He is catching up with us, and then Eric, like I said, rebuilt the entire platform of the league. So
shout out to all the commissioners too, everyone.
It's a lot of work. A lot
of people think this is easier than you actually start doing it, and it's
a lot of work. So
not easy.
All right, now
topic of the week.
We're going to get there. I know, because we only got through 5 last week.
We did. I don't want to keep people waiting.
We got to go through honorable mentions first.
We have honorable mentions?
We have some honorable mentions. So when we left off,
I don't got down my notes. Are you hiding notes from me?
I might be hiding some notes from you, but we had some listeners and some people that commented on Facebook and some of our platforms of some things that they had wished they had seen too. So I thought we're not going to take a deep dive into it, but we're going to at least acknowledge those items. So there's
I got them.
there's 4 that just honorable mention didn't make the top 10. So first off, penalties. So offensive, defensive pass interference. I think there's a lot of reasons why it's not in the game, but that was one.
Slow it down, I think.
Slow it down. It gets rid of some of those aspects. Another one that I almost made the cut was the ability to lateral the ball. So being able to do some wildcat,
that could get broken pretty fast.
I think it'd be risky for league play, but lateral was there. The third one, which is a little controversial, I know on Reddit, when I've gone through Reddit, I've seen it's not as has not been taken well, is the fact that Retro Bowl 25, which for the listeners is the NFL's version of Retro Bowl, made by New Star, but it's like, imagine Retro Bowl meets Madden, so you get actual player names, but it is Apple Arcade exclusive. So unless you're an Apple Plus member, you don't get it.
It's not even like it's not even if you even just own Apple. You have to have Apple Plus the.
Yes, you have to have Apple Arcade, so you can't even play it. So a little controversial, but that was a honorable mention. And then the last one, which I know.
Wait, I can read your mind on the last one. I think I know what's coming.
This is probably the number one request, and Retro Bowl themselves have shot it down.
Oh, can I guess?
Go ahead.
It's playable defense, isn't it?
It is playable defense.
The most talked about thing in probably all the Retro Bowl community. Like, it's number one.
Number one, it is brought up on every thread when people start talking about, oh, what I wish Retro Bowl had this, Retro Bowl had that. Sometimes people bring up, oh, I wish you could customize things. You can if you pay for the full version, which is 99 cents. I know, take out a mortgage these days for that, but yeah, playable defense. Maybe we'll talk about it in another episode, but I don't think when we were creating the top 10 list, this was not one that we wanted to include.
No, especially the playable defense. It's too talked about. Everyone talks about it. Everyone talks about it at nauseam at this point.
I agree. So, that being said, those are the honorable mentions. Probably post that on TikTok and see in shorts, see what people think about that. But let's get into the last 5. So, top 10 things we wish Retro Bowl had
We can't talk tonight, can we?
Part 2, we cannot. It's okay. It's okay. So first off, let's go with the easy one. Okay. So ability to change from go for 1 point conversion to go for 2 point. Now this was you. What did you mean by that? So why 1 to 2 per?
Oh, this is very simple. You know how you can hit 2 point and then switch it to 1 point.
Yes.
Yeah, you can't do that the other way around. If you pick 1, you're going for 1.
Wow. That seems like an easy fix.
It's the concept's already there. I'm not gonna spend much time on it. The concept is already there to how to fix it. If you can go 2 to 1, just go 1. Just hit the button. You can
Go back.
It flips it. The reason why I say I want it is just too many times I have gone into autopilot mode and I'll click, and then I'm screwed.
It's definitely the downside to touchscreens.
I cannot tell you number of times I am just not looking because I'm just trying to speed through it, and I hit 1 point, I look down, I'm kicking, and I go, well, I'm probably gonna lose this week.
I just did that in the college basketball league. Thankfully, those segments are point differential. I'm glad it happened during one of those segments and not playoffs. So, because that would have.
It's a pretty easy fix.
It is an easy fix. So I agree with that. The next one, player traits. So
Is it also me? I think.
Was
this one also me?
No, this one was me. So player traits. So you were big on coaching traits in the first 5 that we talked about. You're really big about that. Player traits. So here's my thought. Okay. You have somebody who has hot hands. That maybe that little bubble, in the background in the programming, they have the ability to. That little bubble is bigger. They dive more to catch the ball. Maybe the ball looks like it's going to be overthrown and he's able to jump a little bit higher. But you get those player traits. So maybe I think you follow the same concept where you, what was it, unlock at what star level?
Minimum was 4.
So I think when you get to that 4-star level,
Or was it 4.5?
I think it was 4. You unlock that trait. Maybe you have one that's like bulldozer and your favorite trucking. It is, times 2 effectiveness or something like that. For those that want to do running back. But I think you add that player trait to complement your coaching traits. What are your thoughts?
Could you double boost?
What do you mean by double boost?
Like the coaching trait can play with effect the player trait, so
Yes.
they combine.
Yes.
Okay.
So you had one that was aggressive DBs.
Yeah.
So imagine you have a DB that's a ball hawk. So you have even more chances for interception.
The pick chance off the coaching trait plus the pick chance off the player trait.
Yes.
Double increase. So it combines, and
Correct.
you now have maybe it combines to 5% total.
Correct.
So they work with each other.
Yes.
Okay.
But I think you limit
slanked
it. I think you have to make it where it's only the players that can be 4 or 5 stars. I think if you go and pick up a free agent that's a 3-star, or you draft somebody that only has potential for 3.5, you don't get player traits. It has to be those high-level free agents.
What if you draft a player at 3-star, but he can get to that 4.5? Do you have to develop the trait and it shows up, or does he not have it because he's technically at that?
Ooh, as I'm spitballing here. I think you can do one of 2 things. So when you draft him, it will tell you that he has still the same thing because you can scout, and it'll tell you you're at a 3.5 and he has the potential to be a 5-star or 4.5-star. I think you spend additional scouting to unlock what you think or what his trait could be.
So a potential trait.
Yeah, so you use 1 scouting to see how high he could go, but maybe you have to use a total of 3 scouting to see what his trait would be.
Okay.
Because with QB, maybe you have one that is, a pocket presence or something like that. So your QB maybe gets an extra second, or you watch it sidestep away from the first guy that would sack the QB. And then you have that extra second, right? But I think like those dynamics in the game kind of support your coaching traits. I don't know. I think it would help.
Okay.
I think it adds a level of strategy to the game. Huge strategy to the game. I think you're going to start going after certain players, not just for like throwing and accuracy. You're going to be going for certain traits at that point.
Okay.
Okay.
So it kind of adds like a player effect of you're gonna try and build your team around this coach because he has this trait. So I'm only gonna try and build it to have players with this trait that matches with coach's trait, and then you can just
Correct.
do you is it just how do I word this? Would it increase the price of the player come markup time?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
And I think in the background, New Star would change it to depending on what type it is. So let's say maybe you get a QB that his trait is, team player. So it helps keep the morale up because he's a team player. Maybe that trait is less on the cost wise when you go to renew his contract or re-sign him, but a pocket presence or a deep throw, accurate deep throw or whatever, precision passing is 10 extra CCs to or you have to spend CCs to re-sign him, or he's a 60 million quarterback versus a 50. Yeah,
That's 60.
I know. Think about that in the RBM. That is over a quarter.
That's half. That's half.
That's yeah.
It's 120 max, right?
200.
Oh, then is
Wait,
it?
it's 200.
Move on. I gotta check something here.
So
I probably.
So I'm just saying. It's 200.
It is. Okay.
It is 200.
I thought I was on 120. I'm like, oh, no wonder I'm not winning in that league. I'm 80 million short.
You are. So I think player traits help complement coaching traits. I think it just brings a good dynamic. All right, now
Get my notes.
this one here, this next one, I'm gonna let you take this. This is punt returns. You brought this up.
Yeah, I mean, it says itself in the name. Punt returns. Just you can do kick returns.
You can.
You can't return punts.
That definitely doesn't make sense.
Listen, these are basic features I'm asking for here. Basic. I feel like these are basic features that could be added with no issue.
I agree. I think you can add the dynamic. It would look very similar to the kicking, and you punt it.
I mean, like, you don't need to do a full-on animation. Just have the punter hold the ball, and then kind of like when they punt on a safety, just drop kick it.
Yeah, it's already in the game.
So like,
it's in the game.
You don't have to do anything crazy.
And you still just use your kicker in game. You don't have to draft a punter because there's no punter in the game.
Yeah, the kicker can just double as punter.
Okay.
Very, very simple concept. I'm
okay.
Here.
I think it's a layup. That's 2 layups, but I think those are things we wish we had because
I think that just shows on how complete the game is. We're just asking at this point for these very minor features.
I agree. 100%.
We're not asking for them to move parts of the world together for updates. It's just very basic features that we think, okay, well it's simple. That's all we want is just punt returns.
I think punt returns that would greatly help. I know there's certain players in certain leagues that love the kick return. Like they thrive off of it.
I don't know why. I think I'm not judging, but that's kind of crazy.
But if you have punt returns with the new trucking feature, we've seen it.
We did see footage of it.
We did see footage of it because that YouTuber has early access and he shared it.
He did.
Does punt returns add a dynamic where you do want to try to return the ball now? Do you save time?
Yes. Because the kick off returns, half the time that ball is down by your by your end zone.
Yes.
Punt returns, you could be on like
They
the
could,
40 or like the 30, like you're already yards out. If you get a couple of trucks free and you can score off punt returns, that also can save some clock, and then you can get another play back.
mm-hmm.
So that could change scoring just a little bit. I can't imagine actually bringing a punt back is gonna.
But does it? You know, right now you're not really punting. You're punt returning. You're just wherever it randomly puts you. Does the punting, you know, maybe you eat up 10 seconds, but now you're at the opposite 35. And now it's just a quick one score, like versus you being back and you have to. There's
no actual return wording. It's just they punt it and then wherever the ball lands, it's like an automatic, like a fair catch.
So you either have a fourth down that says they punt, and it's just randomly placed somewhere. So I like that one. I think that's a good one. I think it's a layup again. It's a layup. So we have what, 2 left? So what do we got left?
Look at my notes here. Wrote this down. All right. Well, we have 2 we can choose from here. Do you want another layup, or do you want a brand new feature?
Well, let's talk about a brand new feature.
All right. Well, this is your child. Kind of. This is what you came up with.
Okay.
The ability to play Bluetooth exhibition games.
Ooh. So this one is a little harder.
It sounds complicated.
It sounds complicated, yes. I don't think they'll ever be. We talked about this in the first 5 of the 10 segment, right? On last week's episode. There will never be a multiplayer. That's why I, said, hey, let's get an online leaderboard type thing. But what if you could? So right now in the game, you can go 1v1 and you just hand off your phone back and forth with somebody. What if you're in the same space? You could do that via Bluetooth. So you would hit a Bluetooth exhibition game. You both have to be in the game and it would connect to you. Each person would connect, and then your back and forth would be just via Bluetooth. So you have to be in the same room, or But the reason why I think about this is really because not just leagues and RBL, but think about this. You and I want to get better. Why not you and I play against real players that we're going up against in league play? Or what if you wanted to host tournaments? And instead of relying on the RNG aspect like we do now for leagues, what if in a tournament mode you get your best players in different regions, or maybe the United States, and you get the people in the same room, and then not only are you screen sharing those during a live tournament, but you're physically playing against each other via Bluetooth.
It's like a head-to-head aspect.
A head-to-head aspect.
Minus the online multiplayer feature.
No online multiplayer, just Bluetooth.
So this is strictly right now. We're face-to-face,
exactly.
So...
And you and I would watch it. I would watch what you do. I would be able to see it, what you do, and then I would get to take control of my team. You would watch what I do, and it would go back and forth.
Man, it sounds pretty simple.
I think
it sounds simple, but I probably imagine the ability to pull it off is not simple.
I agree, but if you're looking for a new dynamic, I think that's how you do it. So, vision a tournament, okay? You say you can build your team up to year 4. Okay? You're starting on quote unquote year 4, and then you go to your exhibition, and that team, remember, you can use your team from your saves to practice right now. So if you go into exhibition mode, you can use
the copy from save, whatever.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then you're doing those 2 teams, so you're getting a true head-to-head feel without the online multiplayer. You don't have to worry about the servers crashing, but you get to do it on a local domain via Bluetooth. Maybe there's a better way to do it, but I was thinking Bluetooth, some form of that where you can play in the same room.
It's not crazy.
So this is where the inspiration came from. Game Boy Color. Okay, going way back. You used to, on Pokemon, would hook up a USB cable to both Game Boy Colors and battle each other from your Pokemon in your own game. And you could battle and trade and do all sorts of things via cable. We have the technology today with our phones that we should be able to do Bluetooth, wireless type connection. That's my thought on that.
I'm not against it.
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't know. I just feel like at that point you might as well just go with the online multiplayer.
I think it creates it keeps you away from having to have servers and keeps your costs down there. Again, I'm looking at it from a business aspect. I think you keep your costs down, but you give players the ability for tournaments. And like, what I would love to host a tournament one day. Maybe this podcast takes off where enough people say, "Hey, let's do a local tournament." We could do it how we do it now with leagues and RNG.
Probably wouldn't be as interesting though.
Would not be as interesting, or if you could put up on the big screen an actual head-to-head match.
I think in that aspect they need playable defense.
I see what you're saying, but that's one of the things I wish it had.
Okay.
Okay. We got one more left.
That's a layup again. We've had a lot of layups this
Layup, but I think a lot of people would love to do this. I'm gonna let you speak to it, but I'll mention it. So our very last one of the top 10 things we wish Retro Bowl had: importing players from Retro Bowl College to the Retro Bowl game.
Import.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, let me think on this really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Explain it while I'm thinking, while I gather my thoughts on it.
So when your players quote unquote get drafted, they would populate in your save draft on the Retro Bowl game. So you would have the ability to draft, let's say, Keon Nichols was your 4-star quarterback, and maybe they drop down a little bit, but that same player has the ability to be drafted in your game.
So okay, so instead of saying in the college game that he was how would you get your money then? He wouldn't be drafted yet until he went up to the game.
No. He would be drafted, but there could be a draft save file, and then you could import that to one of your saves in RBM. So
I think where I'm kind of struggling here, right, is when they in college, when a player gets drafted, it says they were a what round draft pick
yes.
They were, and that's how much money you would get.
Correct.
Okay, I'm saying is if you do the import route, he would just say he declares for the draft, because if you say he's a chosen pick, they need your money. If he just declares for the draft, you don't get your money. So meaning you would have to, when you import him, he would just be on the team, on a random team that picked him. So
I think when the player has to be shown as drafted in the Retro Bowl College. It shows he was drafted to, it'll probably say like New York Giants or whatever, first round. And then you go into your Retro Bowl save, and your next draft, you can hit a button, import players from RBC, and whichever players were actually drafted then would become available. So then you could continue that college player. Let's say you really loved one of your QBs or your wideout, and you want to continue his career all the way till he retires at 35.
If they're ready?
I think you add that dynamic of maybe he graduates with a 4-star, but he comes to the NFL as a 2.5 because it's a rookie or a 3-star, but has the ability to go up to a higher. I think just making that dynamic is there.
Okay.
So kind of the same concept of college football 25 to Madden.
Okay.
That same concept.
Okay.
So, but obviously, like, your pool of players would all be available, and then you just have to go after the one you want. So if you have 3 players drafted, you probably aren't going to get all 3,
Okay.
Okay. So that do you have anything else on that? I think that
looking over, I don't see anything. I think that's it.
Yeah, that is so that's going to conclude the top 10 things we wish Retro Bowl had part 2.
We're done with it.
We're done with it.
We're gonna have a brand new topic for episode 3.
Yes, we are. But before we get there, we have hot takes. So last week was MLB.
It was.
This week, I don't have no idea what yours is. So I have mine written down.
I still don't know what mine is.
Okay. Well,
I'm gonna listen to yours, and then by the time I hear yours, now I pretty sure you wrote it down here for me, so I'm looking at yours.
Yes.
I cannot wait to talk about this one. I cannot wait. So please, Ryan.
So you're the basketball guy, okay?
Yep.
I'm the football guy. Baseball, we both do. We both love hockey.
We're both there.
But I'm not gonna do the Luka trade. Like, we're not going there. Obviously that's a big topic.
Good.
But there was a lot of trades that happened.
Honest, it's top 5 trade deadline of all time. I swear to God.
I think one even got nixed due to a physical.
The Mark Williams Dalton Connect trade between Charlotte and Los Angeles.
Yes.
He has no idea. He has no idea what I just said. That's hence why he's a football guy. That's my guy.
But I do know, just because it is my hot take is on about your team.
Yes,
today.
it's my team.
And I do know, because I've been to one of the Sacramento Kings games. My hot take today is revolving around a trade. So the what?
It's around the trade that we did, huh?
This is what trade you guys did. Okay. This is my hot take. The Sacramento Kings will win more games without Fox, De'Aaron Fox, than the Spurs will win with Fox over the next 2 years.
Oof. Okay.
I'm
gonna need you to explain this one, and I will.
I feel that Fox may have been holding the team back.
I don't disagree with you there, but I'm gonna give my full rebuttal when you're done.
And I understand he is a solid player, but I believe that the Spurs could have made better moves than Fox to help Wemby.
In what way?
Get to the, not just playoffs, but a championship.
No, I know that, but like what moves?
I don't know. I don't follow, but Fox likes to be the center. Maybe this is hot take A, hot take B. I think the Fox Wemby could be the same thing as a Kobe Shaq.
Okay, you're not wrong.
Like that. Time out. I'm not talking like greatest players of all time.
At this pace, Wemby's about to pass that dude, so I don't.
What I'm talking though is how Kobe and Shaq great together, but also wanted to kill each other. I think that second dynamic between Fox and Wemby, I don't think the personalities work. I think Fox is going to be too much for the Spurs. That, I think they sign him to an extension. I do, but I don't think, like, it would not surprise me is after this extension that he does, he is on a different team than the Spurs after that. Like, it would not surprise me with 0 championships under the Spurs belt.
Okay. Am I allowed to? Are you done?
I am done.
All right. So I think I'm the right person to talk on this. So I'll start here. I do believe that when it comes to in the sake of the Spurs, they were searching for that point guard piece, right? They have Chris Paul, who's going to be in the Hall of Fame for first ballot guaranteed. Good point guard. But he's aging. He's probably in the league 3 years max from here. Wemby's entering his prime. Wemby is one of a kind. Like, there's no one like him. He's probably one of the top rookies that we've seen. He's not even a rookie. I think it's his second season, but already has this much hype around him. Mm-hmm. They were looking for the point guard of the future to pair with him.
Yeah.
De'Aaron Fox does that for him. De'Aaron Fox is that future. He's 27, 28.
Still young.
He's still there. He's entering his prime. I don't disagree with you when you said De'Aaron Fox was holding back the Sacramento Kings. Mm-hmm. There's a stat from this season that we were 4-0 in games this season without De'Aaron Fox. Granted, that's changed now, but I think where the issue is going to come in with De'Aaron Fox and San Antonio is going to be this. You're spot on with him. He is a ball first guard. He is the whole reason why I believe Tyrese Halliburton was traded 5 years ago in the Sabonis trade. Halliburton, Fox, both ball dominant guards. They needed the ball in their hand. De'Aaron Fox is exactly that. He's your primary ball handler. He's going to draw plays. Where Fox tends to get a little annoying sometimes is he will settle for that 3-point shot a little too much.
Fox will.
There were times this season and last season where Fox would get into this mode of he's firing threes and no one's stopping him. He's the fastest player in the league. His mid-range is killer. He can get to the rim on you in a blink. But when he settles for threes like he has been in past seasons, he'll shoot you out of games. That's where I think the issue with San Antonio going to come into is if he gets into that mode of where he's just going to settle for threes the whole game, when he could easily just hand a lob to Wemby, who's always going to catch it. I think that's where the issue is going to be. I also think they have a young point guard in Stephon Castle, who is, again, really good. Like, he's really good. You're going to run into that issue. Who do you pay? You pay your young rookie who's coming up, who shows promise, or De'Aaron Fox, who doesn't really have much to show for himself right now. He has, I think, 2 All-Star appearances, 1 maybe. Mm-hmm. 1 All-NBA third team. That's it. He didn't do much in Sacramento.
Right.
So I think what it's going to come down to is I think he will for sure sign an extension with San Antonio this year. By he sounds 4 or 5 year, so 29, 30. By 31, I agree with Total. I think he is somewhere else by 2030. I don't think the Spurs win a title within these years for Fox. I think they make the playoffs. They'll be a good team. I don't see a title for them.
So you're saying, though, based on that answer,
no, the Spurs should be good. If they play this right, they should be a good team.
Should win more games than the Kings.
Yeah, we're going to...
I don't think so.
No. Listen, I'll get to my hot take in a second to play 1-1, but I think it's out. I have watched this team every game this season. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you right now, this team is the most poorly constructed roster I have seen. We've had some bad teams. This team is so built wrong. It's not even.
You gotta give them time. You gotta give them time.
Who, us?
You gotta give your time. Your team time.
All right. Well, this is my hot take.
Oh. So we're done with mine. So
I'm gonna run mine then. It's my thing. Mine can stay at the Kings.
Okay.
The Kings will trade DeMar DeRozan in the offseason.
What's he on right now?
This is his first year. A 4.
That's right.
A 3.
A 3. That's right. They signed him in the offseason.
I think I see him traded in the offseason. I'll do a hot take. Be right with you. Entire Kings front office is completely changed by next year.
And they trade DeRozan. That would put you in the bottom 4 or 5 of the league.
I don't.
With that trade.
I mean, yeah, maybe if Monty McNair's running the trade, yeah, probably. But if you bring a competent GM, you might be able to. He's aging. You're not going to get crazy. I just feel like at this point you have no choice. You are turning into the Chicago Bulls West. That's what you're doing at this point.
You need a GM like the Sharks. I'm just saying.
Because let's look at it right now. Starting five is Malik Monk, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Keegan Murray, Domantas Sabonis.
Mhm.
We have seen the Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan story before in Chicago.
Mhm.
Did not go well.
Yep.
There's a reason why DeMar DeRozan got traded. There's a reason why everything with Chicago didn't work out. DeMar DeRozan, it was on full exam. Last game of the season, the last game before break.
Mhm.
DeMar DeRozan, in the clutch, takes over the game. Not saying in a good way. He had his moments where he can be great. I'm not blaming him, but he lost us that game. Zach LaVine's having a killer night like he's had. DeMar DeRozan proceeds to take, I believe, 4 or 5 shots straight in that and fourth quarter overtime. Missed every single one of them.
So your hot take is DeRozan's
DeRozan's gone by next
And
season,
you-
and the entire front office is gone by next
All
season.
right. Those are some hot takes. Both are on the Kings. They're centered on the Kings, but I'm calling out the Spurs as well. So
I'm calling on my front office. Please,
You are.
please.
you are. But yeah, I think it's great to leave it off there, and I'll be curious to see what our hot takes. Maybe next week we do little shorter term hot takes.
Sorry, you talk Kings.
I know.
I'm being passionate.
I
I'm
know,
sorry.
but let's do some shorter hot takes. I think that would maybe get the listeners engaged. So, with that said, thank you all for listening. Shout out to the RBL one more time. Check them out. On our YouTube, the link to the RBL website.
It wasn't on the first round thing.
But it's fine.
It will be for the second one.
We'll be on the second. Check us out. We're on TikTok now, YouTube, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, and on, of course, Spotify, which is where we post first. But go check us out, and thanks for
Is there anything else you want to shout out before we end it here?
Alice, you got something? I think that's it.
I think that's it. I
Think we're
think
good?
that's it.
All right. Thank you for listening, and keep it real.
Yeah.